What piece of gear can you not live without in your studio? Now, I can't live without any of my gear. I love every piece of gear equally, and I hate it if I don't have access to it. But if we were to have to select a couple that were the kind of the most important pieces of gear in this studio, number one would obviously be the Avid S4 that's behind me. That is the control surface that controls everything. That's essential to me. I've not been able to not work on a control surface for the past probably 20 years. I've had a control surface of some sort, and this is just the Avid S4 is just the kind of the pinnacle of control surfaces. It's the top kind of ones you can get. The Avid S4, Avid F6, they are insanely good, insanely expensive, but insanely good. That I can't live without, and the main reason for that is that it saves me so much time. It's ridiculous how much time it saves. I can mix so much quicker when working on that in comparison to working with a mouse and keyboard. So for that reason, it is by far the most essential piece of equipment that's in this studio. Now, you look, there'll be people who will think, oh, well, the most essential piece of equipment is your interface. Obviously, but think bigger than that. So the other pieces of gear that I really would miss if I didn't have it, number one as well would be the Zombie Rec Mammoth. Now that it's probably the most, I guess, subtle processor that's in here. And if this makes sense, it doesn't make, it's a subtle difference, but it's massive. You can't, once you have one, you can't not have one. For kick drums, it's incredible. For bass in the master, it's unbelievable. The difference it makes is huge. And if you just sit there bypassing it in and out on a master, it's like, where did all the bass go? And it's not a case of like an EQ where it's just like bringing up the volume of the bass. We're talking about, this is very precise processing of the low end. That's what it's incredible for. I would massively miss that if I didn't have that in my arsenal. I would, like, it's ridiculous how much I would miss that. I really would miss that a lot. Other tools that are in here, I could, everything else that's in here, I could kind of not live without. I wouldn't want to live without it. But if for instance, I don't know, we weren't able to access another piece of gear that's in the studio, I could kind of live without it for a little while. I've got to send off my Hum Audio Lull for an upgrade soon, and I'll be without that for about 3 days. But if I do it over the weekend, which I probably will do, it will be back by the Monday. So I'm not going to be without it for too long. If I had to master tracks at that point, I would highly miss it. So what I will do is the 3 days that I don't have access to it, 2 of those days will be over the weekend. 1 of those days, I'll just book mixing in for that day. That's an essential tool. That really is essential when mastering. So I do any piece of gear that's in here, I would massively miss if I didn't have it. However, the two that are huge in the sense of they are massively impactful, and if I do take them out of the studio, I physically have a far lesser sound and a far lesser workflow, is the Avid S4 for workflow purposes, has no bearing on sound, and the Zombie Rec Mammoth purely based on sound. It's a difference of a track sounding full of weight in the low end and not. And that's a massive thing. But it's very subtle, but massive at the same time. And that makes zero sense. But it does if you've used one and you have one. If you own one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't own one and you never tried one, you don't know what it does, it won't make much sense to you. But it's huge what it does.